Hi everyone, my name is Sissy Rodriguez and this is my e-poem revision and citation video. I'll be talking a lot about some of the improvements I've made in addition to each of the works that I've used to support my process of creating this e-poem in relation to fair use and copyright and transformative and infringement purposes. So to begin with, essentially, fair use encourages any students or teachers or any type of creators of work like myself to only use what is absolutely necessary from outside sources to add to an individual work. And I feel like through my e-poem I've done exactly this. By definition, in the most general sense of the term, fair use is the copying of any copyrighted material done for a limited transformative purpose, such as commenting upon, criticizing, parodying a copyrighted work. Such uses can be done without permission from the copyright owner, or in other words, fair use allows artists to not ask for permission and avoid copyright infringement. And so for a transformative use, which can come off as a very vague or ambiguous term, it essentially means trying to transform the work into your own. It shouldn't completely resemble the original works, and I feel like with my overlaying of various musics and various clips and the poem itself, I've definitely made transformative efforts to transform each of the works I've used. I've also taken the time to look into each of the clips I've used and look at their copyright information on each of those, and I've made an effort to make sure that I haven't infringed on anybody's rights. So to begin with, the essential meaning of my poem is talking about wanderlust and just traveling and enjoying life and making new experiences with new people. And so to begin with, my first goal was to find a song that kind of encompassed that entire theme, which I found in a Dave Matthews song. And when choosing what song to use, I actually came across a video of Dave Matthews talking about the writing process of his song and what led him to write it and the meaning behind it and the experiences that led to him getting these lyrics. And word for word, he said, "This song is about the implausible conviction that no matter where you are or what you're doing, nothing means much without the one next to you." And I feel like that's exactly what portrays the relevance of this poem as well. Like, you can travel near and far and all over the world, but once you have someone to share those moments and experience with, you finally achieve wanderlust for eternity, which is actually the note that my poem ends on. So I thought it was really cool that even before, I have known of this song before, but that it would make so much sense in my poem. It was such an easy pick for me. And originally I picked this poem. I knew I wanted to do something with travel originally, and then right when this assignment was due, I'd actually just found out that it would have direct relevance to my life at the time. I recently had found out that I'm accepted into the study abroad program of my choice, which is called Semester at Sea, for next spring, and I will travel on a ship over 4 months through various continents. I'll get to visit Japan, China, South Africa, England, New Zealand, among many other places, and it'll be my first time out of the country, and I couldn't be more excited to experience this wanderlust for the first time. So to begin with, in the very beginning of my poem, I used this various clouds clips to relate alongside the lyrics, and you can already hear the Dave Matthews song beginning. And I made sure the cloud clips I used were free footage, just from some site, real site. So that was fair use. Going on, this is actually a clip from one of my favorite movies called The Last Song, based off a book by Nicholas Sparks. And when I read this line in the poem, it immediately reminded me of this part of the movie, which in itself, the part of the movie, like this clip right here, is maybe a second and a half, but I slowed it down like 300% just because I've driven down this exact road before, and it just reminded me of the words in the poem, so I thought it would be a perfect fit. This part of the poem is actually like a group of clippings. Basically, someone else used fair use and made just like a various clips to relate to a different song that they had written themselves. So it's like somewhat of like a individual like music video, I guess. And so that falls along the lines of fair use, just because these are all individual pieces of someone else's works. And I just really liked the quickness and the sharpness of the images. Like, this is all one part, even though it looks like all separate pieces, which I really liked, and also helped me out a bit just because I'm not very good with technology and piecing everything together smoothly. So I really liked this, how it kind of made, like, it kind of looks like that I added all these pieces together, which I thought was really cool. And then this part of the poem, this clip right here, it's a time lapse from Manhattan. And I found it online, just like I knew I wanted a various time lapse just to kind of capture Wanderlust in like a city perspective, just because you have so many people rustling and bustling, and it's all about travel, and everyone's moving and everyone's trying to get somewhere. And I feel like it really encompassed my message in the poem. And if you actually look on the website that I got this from, I just Googled it on YouTube. And you can see here, I'll show at the bottom. The man says, "This time-lapse production has been a wild and exhilarating ride with a lot of physical work, lugging my 100 to 30 pounds of gear around all of Manhattan. I bent in, maybe broke some laws, and made a ton of friends. Thank you all for your support, and please feel free to help out a starving artist and share this video all over the world." And so hopefully by using his clips in my video, I've done him a bit of justice. And I really think his work went really well with the music and the words too, where this part says, "These times of being lost deep inside my pretty mind are put to rest. No more fears of staying trapped and left behind," which I think fit great with this part, just because it's clearly he was outside enjoying the sun, the fresh summer breeze, it's springtime. Like, I don't know, I thought it really went well together. And then he also talks about, or the poet talks about the city streets paved with a cobblestone, which goes perfectly into this next part of the clip, which is also part of the Manhattan project that he did, which is like the cobblestone and the trees in the church. I thought I did a great way of like just fitting together, pieced together perfectly. And throughout this process, I also, a lot of this, like when I originally did my first e-poem, I guess my internet was bad, and so a lot of this like lagged and paused. And so this time I made an effort. I went back and just revisited the entire website, re-recorded it, just to make it a lot more clearer and less hesitation. And this is probably my favorite part of the poem, where it switches from his clips to another just like freelance, free use recording that I found online. This one was actually called Starry Night Time Lapse, and it was shot with like a Nikon. And originally he said that this was like a 16-minute or 16-hour like time lapse of like a couple nights strung together, and it was also a fair use thing as a freelance thing. So no infringement, fair use. But I really liked how it goes, I'll go on and on and on, and it transfers from this kind of hustle bustle city life to this beautiful starry sky. And then my favorite part of the poem, you see the sky darkens, and I'll go on until time is done with me and the man you all fear comes to me. And then I switch back to the city life poem or clips again. So more wanderlust and more just like this city bustling. So I think, and this was an addition I made in my last revision to the poem. Originally ended right here with like the starry sky, but I thought adding this part back in would be pretty cool and a good way to end the poem. And it also added on a good note of the song that I used too, as kind of like the climax ending of the piano version of the Dave Matthews song I chose. So overall, I think I've done a pretty good job with abiding by the various fair use privileges that we are given under the Fair Use Act. I've made a point to try and contact everyone that I've like used their material from. I've also shared my link with them, and a couple of people I couldn't find like contact information with, but hopefully none of this infringes on anyone's rights. And overall, I've really enjoyed this project. I think if you could compare this video to my very first one that I created, you would not even think it was from the same person. And I'm very impressed with the work that I've come. And if anyone has any suggestions, I'm very open-minded and I would love to hear what you guys think. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed my video.